welcome to 5 Things to Know, a Tax Talk Today exclusive. I'm joined today by Michelle McCaughey. Michelle joined the NAEA 2 years ago as Senior Manager of Government Relations. Michelle's experience in government relations and communication spans a career of more than 30 years in corporate association and government environments, including 7 years on Capitol Hill as the Public Information Officer for the U.S. Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources. Michelle, on behalf of our viewers, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Tax Talk today, where IRS and tax industry leaders come together to share their knowledge on and experience working with federal tax law. As an NAEA member myself, I know just how important a status enrolled agent is. But before I get into the 5 things to know, please share a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate being here today. I guess I should start off by telling you that I'm a native Washingtonian. I'm a second generation native Washingtonian. Actually, my parents were both born in DC. And I actually was born on Capitol Hill. I used to tell people that I was literally and figuratively born on Capitol Hill.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, for right off the bat, what is NAEA doing to promote the status enrolled agents?
Well, when I joined NAEA 2 years ago, I was told that advocacy was the association's greatest benefit, that it was the heartbeat of the association. And so the last 2 years, I've observed firsthand the well-earned reputation that NAEA has as a thought leader and a champion for enrolled agents. We have an active government relations committee of very dedicated members, and the legislative council works very hard, executive members, volunteer members, and they spend a tremendous amount of time educating about the role of enrolled agents and their importance to the tax administration system. Our goal in advocacy is to be the leading voice with governing bodies. The key focus is on enhancing the voice, the value, and the credential of EAs for the advancement of the association, as well as for the advancement of the profession. As you know, for many years, the annual fly-in was an excellent way for EAs to promote themselves and what they do to members of Congress. Unfortunately, with the limitations that COVID placed on us, we had to cancel the fly-ins for a couple of years. We're looking forward to getting back to that next year, and we're excited about that. As soon as the Congress opens up and lets visitors come and visit on both sides freely. In the interim, what we're doing is we're having small group meetings between members and members of Congress. Recently, we had one with Congressman Bill Pascrell, who is chairman of the House Oversight Subcommittee, as you know. He is well-versed in all the issues surrounding IRS. So he was anxious to meet with the EAs to hear what their life was like. And he learned a few things he didn't know about the roadblocks and the problems that they face on a daily basis just trying to do their jobs and support their clients. He spent 45 minutes with us. And now that group is a resource for him. And he's looking to the group to give him feedback on their problems. And so he can address them at a sort of a different level there on the committee. As I mentioned, we're really excited about getting back to in-person meetings, but we're also developing an advocacy training series. A lot of people want to be involved, but they don't know how to be involved. So we're going to hold training sessions to teach people how to advocate for themselves and the issues that NAEA supports, and also to build better relationships. That's what it's all about, is relationship building.
Great. I just have a follow-up question on that. And for those of us that would like to be involved, how will we find out about these classes?
We'll be announcing it. They're in the development stage at the moment. We are hoping to offer something after tax season ends, looking at the May-June timeframe. But we'll be promoting it. It'll be an e-alert. There'll be lots of ways for people to find out about the training. We're going to do a wide reach on this.
Great, great. We'll keep our eyes open for it.
Yes.
Now, the IRS has been a challenge to work with due to the budget and things along those lines for quite a few years now, but the last couple of years with the pandemic has created even more challenges that we have as practitioners in dealing with the service. What is NAEA doing to help improve this working relationship, for lack of a better term, or the situation with the IRS?
One of the things we've done is to join a broad group of stakeholders in the tax practitioner community. That the group represents about a dozen stakeholders, and they represent Latinos, African Americans, small business, and low-income taxpayers. And we've been very successful in spearheading letters from Congress to Secretary Yellen and to Commissioner Reddick about the various issues and problems that we're facing in this very, very, very difficult tax filing season. The coalition has also held media briefings, and it held a pretty big town hall a few weeks back that had a lot of attendance by the members of the coalition partners. We're looking forward to future activities with coalition because we want to be a partner with IRS. We want to help them be better. We don't want a difficult relationship. We have good relations with a number of employees at IRS. National Public Liaison, for example, is a tremendous partner. And we want to keep that going. But we also want to help them. And one of the things that we're doing in trying to help them is pushing for more funding. We know they got a bump of $625 million in the last appropriations bill. And we're hoping that the Congress gets through the FY23 appropriations before the end of the year and maybe give them another bump this year. But they need to be held accountable, but they also need to be given support. So funding will provide the support to hire more employees, to train, to develop better customer service. But at the same time, then the Congress is going to want to see how you were doing this and have some measures on them to track how well they're doing. But it's all support. It's all positive. And like I said, we want to be a partner.
Well, I appreciate that because I do spend a lot of time defending the IRS myself, both to my clients as well as other practitioners out there. I work too closely with them, and Tax Talk today, obviously, we're partners with the IRS as well. But just for me to do what I do and the representation work I do, having that good relationship makes all the difference. So it's good to know that NAEA is working from the position of working together versus us against them kind of a scenario. And I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Now, regulating tax preparers is a big issue on a lot of levels. And personally, I just recently closed an audit where the taxpayer had gone to a ghost preparer who did them absolutely no favors. And these poor people are now in a situation where the liability they have will take them forever to pay off because of this. Regulating preparers personally would be a wonderful thing to see happen again, but we've run into that in the past and there's been obvious challenges. Where do we stand as of now? What is NAEA doing with that to help?
Well, the legislation, introduced by Congressman Panetta and Congressman Royce last year, we tried to get it in to Build Back Better, but that didn't happen. So we think that it'll come up eventually. There's strong support for the bill, but with so many competing priorities in Congress right now, it is really hard to get legislation across the finish line. We continue to work with Congressman Panetta and his staff, looking for ways to promote this, but it's going to be an uphill battle to get that legislation this year. But like I said, we're going to continue to push, and eventually we will get it over the finish line.
Great. Good to know that we're working on that because, again, that's one of those little pet peeves of mine that I'd like to see some kind of regulation. There is in so many other industries. I mean, hairdressers have more regulations than tax preparers in some states. That's an example. And I don't, not to belittle hairdressers, it's not about that. It's just moving on. Before I get my tongue into more trouble here, what is NAEA doing? Because I see these in the articles, I read the newsletters in the morning that come through my inbox while I'm having my coffee. And one of the things that's popping up is this rather large increase in our fees that it's going to be coming potentially? What is NAEA doing about these renewal fee increases?
Well, we will be testifying at a hearing on May 11th to oppose the 109% increase that's being proposed in the EA fee and renewal fees. And that's on top of the increases that have already been proposed for the C exam, the special entrance examination. We've submitted a Freedom of Information Act request because we want to get more information about the formula and the methodology that was used, because it just doesn't add up. The calculations laid out by IRS just don't add up. So we're going to do our due diligence because we don't think that such a huge increase is justified. And you know, being an enrolled agent yourself, EAs are the very types of individuals that IRS needs now more than ever. And we shouldn't be creating barriers for people to enter the EA profession. We should be opening our arms to them. And we believe that this proposed rule will hurt the very enrolled agents that are actually part of the solution, not the problem.
Well, you know, it's interesting. The fees for the exam have gone up considerably. And now these fees going up as well. It's a wonder where the IRS is thinking. We have not enough enrolled agents as there is. So I'd like to see something. It would be great to see this not happen, but I've got a feeling hopefully we'll find something somewhere in between, because the costs, everybody's costs go up, and that's, you know, obviously right now, especially in the year that we've been having. But I'm going to move on from that. As a member, and there's member involvement is how any association works, and I know that NAEA being a member-driven association, volunteer-driven association, if somebody wants to get involved with the NAEA's advocacy programs, what would they do?
Well, there are committees that can be joined, and when issues come up, you know, we will be reaching out to everybody for support and help. But one way that is particularly near and dear to my heart would be for people to think about the NAEA PAC. That it's probably our most powerful tool for supporting candidates aligned with NAEA's policy agenda. It also provides an opportunity for increasing member involvement and member recognition. I keep saying, you know, that we want to be our goal is to be a leading voice with governing bodies. And so our focus in the PAC is on the House Ways and Means Committee and the Senate Finance Committee. And as I mentioned, you know, we had that meeting with Congressman Pascrell, and we've had other meetings with members of the House Ways and Means Committee. And we're going to continue to be holding small group meetings. But the PAC plays a prominent role in that the members of Congress, have an opportunity to learn more about what is important to EAs. And so the more EAs that support the PAC, the more their Congress is going to become aware of what an EA is all about. There are 36 members on the House Ways and Means Committee who are up for re-election, and 9 on the Senate Finance Committee who are up for re-election. And so I am hopeful that we can build up strong participation in our PAC, and with the advocacy training we've been talking about, and education and small group meetings, we'll be hosting more virtual events for our members as we get closer to the election. But we're looking for ways to bring the EAs into the advocacy work. And a PAC is a good way to do that, because we do have events that are going on. And like I mentioned, the training that we're trying to do. We're also trying to identify and train a diverse group of ambassadors to advocate on behalf of enrolled agents and to educate state and local leaders, as well as members of Congress. And the state affiliates actually will play an important role in this process. You know, our government relations staff is small. It's me and our 2 legislative counsels, Jeff Trinka and Thad Inge. And we cover a lot of ground, but as more and more issues keep popping up at the state and local levels, having NAA ambassadors on the ground in the state EA societies will be a huge benefit to our advocacy efforts. And one of the activities that the members on the PAC board are doing is making presentations about advocacy at the state societies. So as they happen this year. So hopefully, little bit by little bit, more people will become involved, more people will understand what the activities are, becoming, and it's work that makes lasting change. You can meet somebody one time, and that's nice. But if you continue to build a relationship with these same people over and over again, which is why the flying was so important, even though it was only once a year, members look forward to going back the next year and meeting the Congress people they had met the year before. So we got to continue to build that relationship, but also not only with members, but with the issues, getting involved, understanding the issues, be actively engaging in the issues, spreading awareness of EAs and what the issues are. So I guess I'm open. I've got open arms, and I'm saying if you're interested, I'm here for you, and I'm wanting to help you.
Well, this has been really great, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us on 5 Things to Know. On behalf of the viewers, I want to thank you again for all the work that you do for NAEA and its members. Your work in the advocacy has been a tremendous benefit to the NAEA members and the tax preparer community. Thanks again, and we look forward to having you back on another episode of 5 Things to Know. Thank you all for watching. As always, it's been great learning with you. I look forward to seeing you again on a Tax Talk Today program.